You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
8 minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the show on this beautiful Tuesday morning, the 8th day of April. Thank you for joining us here on 702. How are you doing this morning? Are you having a hectic day today? Is it a lazy day? All the best with whatever plans you have, vandag. On the show today, well, as always, we'll start with the 702 open line this hour. You can call on 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. If you want to send your comment on YouTube as you watch us live, you're welcome to do that. I will read some of your comments from there. Remember, you can watch the show live. Watch what's happening in studio on YouTube. Go to the 702 YouTube page if you want to watch and listen at the same time. Was ActionSA duped by the ANC? It's becoming clearer and clearer that that may have been the case. I think ActionSA has been deceived. I think they have been tricked by the ANC. Tricked into believing that the finance minister will rework his budget and remove the VAT hike before it gets implemented on the 1st of May. What confirms this for me are the statements that have been made by ANC leaders and other GNU partners about VAT being a temporary measure. It appears the ANC and other GNU partners, except the DA, of course, are clear and resolved on the VAT hike. And ActionSA is the only party that still somehow hopes that the finance minister will come back with another plan. I don't think that's going to happen. And I'm going to demonstrate to you why I believe this in a few minutes. A part of me believes that the ANC played ActionSA. Another part of me believes ActionSA knew exactly what they were doing. They knew that VAT will go up, that they can't stop it, but they were playing the long game. I don't know what their intention was behind the move, if the latter is what they went with. ActionSA was so insistent on the fact that come the 1st of May, VAT doesn't come into effect. In fact, they still insist on that. But Rise Mzansi, the IFP, and other parties in the GNU have accepted that it will come and be temporary. But that's not what ActionSA signed up for. The more I look at the legislation, the more I realize the impracticality of reversing VAT within 3 weeks. I don't know how ActionSA explains this to its voters. The same voters that it released a statement and tweeted, "We saved you from VAT." Come the 1st of May, what are they going to say to their supporters? Are they going to say, "We lied to you"? "Oh, sorry, we were played"? For their sake, and honestly for the sake of South Africans, I do hope that the ANC lives up to its promise to ActionSA. What do you think is at play here? I'm going to demonstrate to you shortly why I've taken the stance that I'm taking, which is what I believe, that ActionSA has been tricked. Give me a call or send me a WhatsApp voice note.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Hello, my brother. Good morning. I hear you are saying that what if the ActionSA was played by the ANC? But what if the ActionSA knew that they were being played? Because these parties, isn't it that they do consultations with economists, with legal people when they take these decisions? So what if ActionSA knew what was happening and them and the ANC concocted a story or dynamics that they were going to give to the public so that the voters of the ActionSA do not get disappointed at ActionSA for changing their stance on working with the ANC? So what if they knew that there's no turnaround? Once the budget is approved, it's approved. They just wanted to use this as a way to get into the GNU and make sure that DA lives. So I'm of the view that ActionSA knew. They've done consultations. They knew what's going to happen.
Hi, Clement. I feel like ActionSA was not doomed. They knew exactly what they were putting themselves into, but they just needed a statement just to make the followers to think as if they are being doomed. But they know exactly what's going on. They know who is ANC. Herman knows exactly what is ANC. So, but they were just doing it for the sake of cooling down people, trying to look as if it's a mistake. It is something that has been caused by accident. But eventually, they know who is ANC, and they know ANC. You can tell Herman Mashaba knows exactly what is ANC. So he knows what he's doing. They were not doomed. They put themselves in that position because they knew exactly how the game is going.
Regarding ActionSA backing the ANC's budget, I had very high hopes and high regard for Herman Mashaba, but I think since his exit from the DA, he's struggling with an issue that he has got resentment towards the DA. And it seems to me, if I look at the decisions he's made consequently, that he is making emotional decisions in a way to get back at the DA, to show that he's got power over them, that he can thwart their plans, etc. So, to be honest, even if you look at Herman's post on X, etc., I am concerned that he's making decisions from the wrong space. He's not thinking about all South Africans. He's very much motivated by his desire to get back at the DA. Something's not right in terms of how Herman is approaching things at the moment.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
All right, so 16 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let me explain to you why I think ActionSA has been played here. It's been tricked. And I really hope that I'm wrong. Trust me. In fact, I pray that I'm wrong. But everything else is suggesting otherwise. There's something strange that happened last week after this report was passed in Parliament. This proposal that the finance minister is going to have these 30 days to go and rework the budget, right? After that budget or that report was passed, the ANC released a statement. And as soon as the ANC released a statement, I went through it. I read it 3 times. I read it the first time and I thought, oh my goodness, something is strange here. I read it for the second time. And then I realized in that statement the ANC has released that the statement doesn't, first of all, the statement is on the adoption of the fiscal framework, right? But it doesn't acknowledge that Minister Kotongwana must produce a revised budget without a VAT increase, as promised to ActionSA. In fact, the ANC on that statement was calling on all sectors of society to work together in the implementation of the people's budget. And I say that in quotes, the people's budget. That statement doesn't even mention the 30 days for the finance minister to rework the budget, which is what was discussed in the finance committee last week. In fact, the ANC talks about advocating for the expansion of VAT exemptions on essential goods. So when I realized this, I started just having chats with some of my colleagues. I'm like, did you guys pick this up? I went and I tweeted it. As soon as I tweeted it, then ActionSA picked up my tweet. They realized what's going on. They started talking to the ANC and they told the ANC, what's going on? Why have you released a statement that doesn't acknowledge the deal that we have? And then the ANC the next day puts up a different statement. And the ANC in that statement then acknowledges that this is what's going to be happening in the next 30 days. Now, that's the first thing. I let it go because I thought, oh, this thing has been resolved. Actually, maybe the ANC just made a mistake. They forgot to include this crucial element. which is an agreement that was reached between the ANC and ActionSA. Fine, let it go. And then I started listening to politicians and what they are saying about this particular issue over the last couple of days. Listen to what President Cyril Ramaphosa said when he was in Soweto. And I like just, when I read statements, I want to, especially when it's politicians, there's a reason politicians put a comma here. There's a reason why they put an apostrophe here. There's a reason why the tone of the statement will be in a particular way. Because it's politics. And what I've always enjoyed to do is to read statements and try and understand the tone and what message they're trying to send. And even when the politicians speak, that's what I like doing. I want to listen to how are they saying it? What are they saying? What could it mean beyond what they want me to think what they're saying means? So first of all, listen to what the president said this weekend.
The resolution that was taken by the Finance Committee was that there will be a 30-day period during which Treasury will examine whether there are other options other than through a VAT increase where we can fill the gap of about 13.5 billion rand. So that has been left for discussion and examination. And in the end, we will look at all ways and means of seeing whether that is possible or not. From current examination, Treasury has said, having looked at various areas where they can look, that it doesn't seem to be so. However, the proposal from the various parties is being taken very seriously, and that process will be engaged in for the next 30 days, and it is only thereafter that a report will be available and will be presented that we will be able to take the matter forward.
So that's the president, right? Saying from the current examinations, Treasury has said, we've looked at other ways. There's no other way we can actually raise additional revenue without this VAT increase. But they're going to go and look at ways. Guys, remember here, there was a 2 percentage point VAT increase that was proposed. Shot down. Treasury had to go back, look at other ways. They came back, I think, probably proposed a 1% increase. But Cabinet still said, They went back, 0.5% VAT increase. So already in that statement, I could hear that the president is actually saying, these people have gone and looked. Sure, we've promised ActionSA that they'll go and look at other ways. We'll see what that report says, but the current examinations are clear. I listened to what his deputy said yesterday. Paul Mashatile. Do you have that clip, Abel? The new one? Paul Mashatile. Listen to what Paul Mashatile said yesterday about the issue of VAT.
We've already missed the 1st of April because that's when the budget must kick in. So we pushed it back to the 1st of May just to give parties a bit of time to see is there something else we can do. But we are not married to VAT as a lifetime thing. It's really just to cross this bridge now. We think that we can push growth beyond 3% of GDP in this next 3 years.
You hear that? We are not married to VAT as a lifetime thing. We need it. Mark those words. We need it just to cross this bridge now. We need it just to cross this bridge now. That's the deputy president of this country, the deputy president of a party that went and promised ActionSA that the finance minister is going to come back with a reworked budget. He says, we need this VAT now, and then the economy will grow and there can be reconsiderations. Okay, maybe you don't believe the president, you don't believe the deputy. Take a listen to Rise Mzansi, which is part of the GNU, because they know what they signed up for.
Whether the DA it's in or it's not in, it's neither here nor there. I just have to say that there's always this assumption, even from the commentariat, that for South Africa to succeed at all times, the DA must be part of government. That's not true. We don't believe that to be true. So we'll continue to work. South Africa will continue to work. There's government in this country. There's parliament in this country. It will continue to work. So if the DA wants to be in opposition, wants to align itself with the MK and EFF, that is their business. For us in the GNU, we are committed to make the GNU work. And for people will be shocked what will come out. We are very confident that this VAT increase will be a temporary measure. So
there you have it. He says we are confident that this VAT increase will be what? A temporary measure. It's coming on the 1st of May. All the other parties in the GNU who voted for this know this. That's why Rise Mzansi says we are confident this VAT increase will be temporary. When it comes, it won't be for too long, because they will grow the economy and then we can then take it back. That's Rise Mzansi. What about the IFP? Let me play you the last clip from the IFP president himself, speaking yesterday, confirming what the IFP are saying, confirming what Paul Mashatile said yesterday.
The IFP is anti-VAT increases. This remains our position. And while this VAT increase is not desirable, we support this budget under prevailing circumstances and with conditions. The first of such is that the VAT increase must be temporary and must be done away with as soon as more viable economic income streams are secured.
Did you hear that? The IFP supports that it must be temporary. So my question then is, why is ActionSA the only party that seems to somehow live in this illusion, this dream that the finance minister is coming back with a reworked budget, when the deputy president himself talks of a temporary VAT hike? When the other parties like Rise Mzansi and the IFP, and I could play you other clips, we just don't have time because I want to go to your calls and WhatsApps. Other parties who say we support this VAT increase for now, as long as we are going to relook at it. But ActionSA was promised that before, in the next 30 days, the finance minister is going to come back with a report, with a budget that's reworked that removes a 0.5 percentage hike. Now, here's something else that's also important you need to note. National Treasury went ahead and introduced the rates and monetary amounts and amendment of revenue laws bill just this past Friday. It was by notice in the Government Gazette. That draft bill, as it was published, provides for the highly disputed value-added tax. That's VAT increase. Provides for the expansion of the list of zero-rated items, the increases in sin taxes and adjustments to tax brackets. In fact, it was on the 12th of March, this Gazette. Remember, ActionSA proposed a 30-day window period in which to find alternative revenue proposals to VAT increase and higher income tax for individuals through bracket creep in exchange for its yes to that vote. The question now is, does ActionSA actually know that it voted in favor of the fiscal framework containing that VAT and other steel tax increases I mentioned? Do they realize the increases are actually contained in that draft bill? Oh, and here's another interesting point. Parliament is on recess. So it's not just going to take a finance minister who comes and says, take away that VAT. No, there must be a new bill that's introduced that's going to see through the reversal of that 0.5 percentage hike in VAT. But Parliament is in recess for 2 weeks until after the Easter weekend. So do you have any memory of Parliament where it was able to pass a bill within a month? Maybe you can remind me of that. So ActionSA seems to be adamant that no VAT on the 1st of May. That's what we were promised. But if you look at the practicality of the 1st of May coming and somehow there's a removal of VAT, it doesn't look so. And that's why I think they've been played, they've been tricked, or they knew what they were doing and they lied to you. What do you think? 011-883-06 0702. WhatsApp's on 072 702 1702.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
Hey, good morning, Clement. Honestly, ActionSA knew exactly what they were getting themselves into. They knew, or they know, that by the 1st of May, VAT will increase. They just didn't want DA to get their way, probably because of what happened between the two of them before the elections. But in all honesty, what ActionSA offered the NC, DA could have offered that as well. But DA chose to ask for things that do not have anything to do with the budget. So, I mean, in short, ActionSA knew, bro. They knew what they're getting themselves into. They were not tricked.
Morning, Clement. I think the ActionSA knew exactly what they put themselves into. They actually wanted to sneak in the GNU. So they thought if they vote with the ANC on this matter, then the DA will be kicked out automatically. So now they are really played. They are really played. I believe they are played, but they know exactly what they were doing.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
24 minutes before 10 o'clock. Cindy, Le, Fernando, I'll start with you guys in a moment. I want to quickly bring in Herman Mashaba, who is the leader of ActionSA. Mr. Mashaba, thanks for making time. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement, and thank you for the opportunity to happen to be driving from Midrand, listening to you with your analysis, and I'm happy to assist you.
Please assist me, Mr. Mashaba, because I think that you have been tricked by the ANC. I don't think you saw it coming. You thought that the ANC is going to come back with a reworked budget before the 1st of May. And I've played the listeners some clips here where Paul Mashatile says this temporary VAT is necessary, but as soon as the economy improves, it will be changed. I played a clip of the IFP, of Rise Mzansi, of the president. So it looks like you are the only people here that somehow believe that there's going to be a removal of VAT before the 1st of May.
Well, it's unfortunate, Clement, if political parties mandated by the public to represent them in Parliament, they vote for reports that they do not understand. Please have a look at the report tabled by ActionSA as a proposal in the Finance Committee on the 1st, and to really look at the very same report presented and voted in Parliament on the 2nd. So it's unfortunate if people voted for what they did not understand. It is not ActionSA's the problem. It's their problem. If people are just voting cattle, then let it really be. Then South Africans must really decide. ActionSA stand by the proposal which was voted in the committee, was voted in Parliament. And one thing that we made it really abundantly clear to the ANC that in the event they're looking at other options, it is their choice. It's not our choice. We gave them a solution on how we can address this matter and ensure that there's no VAT on the 1st of May. If they fail to meet those deadlines, Clement is not going to be our problem, because you must understand on Wednesday in Parliament is not the budget that was voted, it was the framework, the fiscal framework. So this budget is going to go into divisional financial committees, which must be voted in by Parliament. If the ANC thought they really tricked us, then I can assure you, and we've said this to many times in South Africa, including my interview with you, in the event ANC renege on this arrangement, then they must go and find someone now to vote the actual budget. They must go and look for other parties to vote with them to get the budget, because without ActionSA's the votes, they will not get the support. of the actual budget. This is the fiscal framework which was approved. And ActionSA on Sunday, we worked throughout after they supported our proposal. We've given the Minister of Finance is only looking for 28 billion rands. We've given them on Sunday afternoon proposal to the tune of 110 billion rands of what they can use to replace those 28 billion. If they're not interested in implementing those cost-cutting, saving measures and so forth, it is up to them. They can forget. Let's see now how they're going to now. When we get to the budget, who's going to...
Okay, Mr. Mashaba, let's look at what was voted on, right? You speak about a proposal. When I spoke to you last week on the SABC, I said to you, these things don't get amended, obviously, by just mere recommendations or proposal. The document that was voted in has a 0.5 percentage clause. The agreement with the ANC was not something...
It's not with the ANC. It's voted in by Parliament.
Yeah, but you spoke to the ANC first. You know what I mean? You spoke to the ANC first. You reached an agreement. You went to Parliament. Yes, but I'm saying the agreement between you and the ANC was that we will get the finance minister to do this. And then once the ANC said, cool, you came back and said, okay, cool, let's work on a proposal. It went to Parliament. It was passed by Parliament. Are you aware as ActionSA that the National Treasury went ahead and introduced the rates and monetary amounts and amendment of revenue laws bill on that Friday? I think it was, I don't remember the date. On the Friday, it was a notice of government. So that draft bill that was published provides for this highly disputed value-added tax increase. Are you aware of that as ActionSA?
Well, what I'm saying is to you, Clement, and your listeners, at the end of the day, budget is passed by politicians in Parliament. National Treasury takes instructions from Parliament that votes for that budget. Until such time that a new bill is introduced, and ANC has got the responsibility to ensure that before the 1st of May they bring in a new bill. And I know, and you said, I'm aware, but Parliament is on recess, but they're back on the 21st before.
That's 10 days before the 1st of May, Mr. Mashaba. Whenever have you seen Parliament? You do know that you are not just going to reverse the 0.5. One second. I want to say that. Let me ask this question this way. You do know that you need a new bill for you to be able to reverse that 0.5 percentage hike. You do know that, because it's not just a finance minister who comes and says, oh, we're taking away that VAT. You need a new bill. When have you ever seen Parliament pass a new bill within 10 days?
Well, I'm saying it's to you, Clement, it is not the ActionSA's problem. It is the ANC's problem, because if they did not accept our proposal on Tuesday and Wednesday, South Africa will be today without budget. Are you aware about that? Let me actually start there. Are you aware that if our proposal in the committee was not accepted, if our proposal was not accepted in Parliament on Wednesday, are you aware South Africa will be without VAT? And without VAT, automatically VAT was going to be in place. Are you aware about that situation? Because obviously all the other parties, particularly the DA, what they were proposing was for the Minister of Finances to go and start the process all over again, which will go beyond the 1st of May. But after, based on the VAT Act of 1991, VAT was going to be implemented 1st of May. That is what we were trying to really avoid.
Mr. Mashaba.
And it's up to the ANC to really deal with this matter.
Okay. Mr. Mashaba, are you convinced that Parliament is on recess? They are back on the 22nd. In fact, it's the 22nd until the 25th of April. And then they go on another break immediately because of the long weekend. Are you telling the listeners this morning that between the 22nd and the 25th of April, somehow there's going to be a new bill that's introduced, and that new bill that reverses the 0.5 percentage VAT hike is somehow going to be passed by Parliament in those couple of days?
But okay, Clement, then follow what ActionSA has always said, and I'm saying to you right now, we've been really very clear that in the event that the ANC renege on this, now it's up to them to really deal with the actual division of the financial budget come the next few months, weeks and months, so they can forget about ActionSA.
But you allowed them. You allowed them to pass this thing. You didn't vote for a proposal. You voted for a bill that contains the percentage VAT hike. You allowed them to increase the 0.5 percentage hike.
But please just use your common sense. I'm saying to you, if ever we did not come out with this intervention, VAT was going to be implemented. If ever the Minister of Finance, if Parliament on Wednesday that said to the Minister of Finance, go back to the drawing board to go and rework your budget, start from scratch, VAT was going to be effective from the 1st of May. Are you aware about that?
I am, but I'm saying you created an impression that somehow you've won. You went and tweeted, we saved you, South Africa, from a 0.5 percentage hike. What I'm trying to show you is that it's actually impractical for VAT to be removed before the 1st of May. And I wonder what you're going to say to your voters come the 1st of May, your supporters, if that's not removed.
To my voters, I'm saying to you and the people of South Africa what we've always said, that in the event ANC renege on the agreement we had with them and which they supported in the Finance Committee, they supported in Parliament. If ever they renege on that South Africa can tell you in the coming months is not going to really have the budget. The Minister of Finance has got to start all over again, and that will be applicable. Then they would have not really betrayed us. They would have betrayed you and the people of South Africa.
Time is running out, Mr. Mashaba. The 1st of May is coming. Many of us have received emails from our banks where we are told that VAT gets implemented from the 1st of May. Government tweeted itself that VAT comes in on the 1st of May. The ANC tweeted a statement, which you guys have seen. You responded to it, to my Twitter, my tweet about a week ago. So time is running out. The question now is, as ActionSA, as we speak right now, are you confident? Do you have any commitment from the ANC? Have they met you and said to you, Mr. Mashaba, don't worry, forget about the noise. We are going to make sure there's a removal of this VAT hike?
Well, it is for that reason they accepted and voted for our proposal.
What have they said to you now?
It's not a fiction. It's not a fiction. It's something that happened in Parliament in front of the whole nation. They supported our proposal. They voted for it. They did not just support it. They voted for it in the committee. They voted for it in Parliament. So if they renege on this, it is not going to be a betrayal of ActionSA. They will be betraying the people of South Africa. And what is going to be interesting, without ActionSA's support, I wonder how they're going to now pass the real budget, because here we passed the fiscal the framework. Now it's going to really be interesting. Now let them take the consequences of their inaction or indecisiveness. Okay. Because here we needed a political party that can make a concrete decision. When you deal with matters like this, you make sure that there's commitment. And we advised the ANC when we came out with this proposal. We said, guys, please be proactive in communicating the process of what's going to transpire. But they decided to play games, saying different things. And we just really kept quiet, because we know we have the power to decide whether their budget is going to pass or not. And I can assure you, if they're going to continue with their VAT, then let them go and get their support from MK.
They probably will, Mr. Mashaba, because all they needed right now is to go through this hurdle. So they used you as ActionSA to go through the first hurdle. They're probably going to fix things with the DA, and then they're going to continue with their GNU. Are you aware? Last question.
But then it's exactly then precisely Clement, that do mean that will apply regardless. That will be effective. If ANC does not implement what they voted for on Wednesday, that will apply on.
But they would have used you to try and go through that first hurdle first. They promised you.
But no,
They gave you
tell
drinks.
me, okay, tell me, what did they achieve?
They've achieved that first hurdle of passing it from.
Of what?
They made you think that you're going to vote for a proposal, but you actually voted.
It's a fiscal policy framework. It's not the budget that was passed.
No, the document you voted on has a 0.5% clause in Parliament.
Yes.
Yes, so the vote, you didn't just vote for a proposal that says we're going to rework. What you voted for in Parliament, that has a 0.5% VAT.
Clement, then use another logic. If ever we did not agree on this plan that we presented to the ANC, that Parliament had to say to the Minister of Finance, go back and rework your budget. The VAT was going to be applicable on the 1st of May. That's something that you need to really take into consideration.
That's true, and I've taken that into consideration. My point is your involvement and your agreement doesn't change that. It's still going to be applicable on the 1st of May.
Well, but if ANC is committed to this process, they can make things happen. If they don't make things happen, and we've been really very clear about this. We said to South Africans, and we are still saying to South Africans, it is possible. We've presented, and in the event they don't implement our suggestions, we will make them public so that you can see how we wanted to save South Africa from overburden of VAT and this income tax bracket. Then it's up to ANC to accept the consequences.
All right. Herman Mashaba, leader of ActionSA, thank you so much for making time. ANC must accept the consequences, he says. What are your thoughts? It's 9 minutes before 10 o'clock. Max, Ephraim, Fernando, I'll start with you after this.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
On 702.
6 minutes before 10 o'clock. Fernando, you are in Germiston. Good morning.
Clement, hi, good morning.
Sure, go ahead.
What a great show.
Thank you, sir.
I've just listened to this interview. I actually cannot believe what I've heard. If I was Herman Mashaba now, and Mr. Trollip and Mr. Bowman, I'd actually step down. It's laughable. It's laughable. You cannot script this. So, three parties. I've actually lost my train of thought, but ActionSA, Rise Mzansi, and Musi Maimane realized that the GNU actually captured the hope of South Africa. Lots of bumps along the road, and they found themselves stuck in the cold. The DA efficiency was there for everybody, McPherson carrying on, whatever. Yes, the politics carry on. The ANC being kept in check and still trying to appease. But these guys have been played by the ANC to a T.
Fernando, I really hope we're wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. In fact, I pray that I am wrong. But everything else points me to the impracticality of that being avoided come the 1st of May. And the fact that Herman Mashaba and the leaders of ActionSA still are buying this dream the ANC is selling them, even though Paul Mashatile, the deputy president, says this thing is necessary, this VAT hike, it will be temporary. All the other parties of the GNU, except the DA, of course, are like, yeah, this is necessary, but when the economy improves, then we'll take it back. But ActionSA still seems to believe in this dream that the finance minister is going to fly from heaven, like, ooh, with wings, holding a nice document of budget that says, no VAT hike. It's actually not funny. Max, you're in Midrand. Good morning.
Morning, Clement. And believe me, you are not right. You are spot on. This VAT thing is going ahead. We've already seen in many other publications and many other businesses have already sent out messages confirming that this VAT increase is going to change their fee structures on their end as well. So very disappointing from Mr. Mashaba, and indeed him and Trollip and many others who waited for these things. And Mashaba stands on the radio and tells the nation people are signing things that they don't understand. And he's making it sound like he really, really had a better understanding of exactly what he was signing for. Clearly, he was cleared by the ANC, and that is the reality where we are now. He was cleared by the ANC. That fiscal framework, it provided details of what exactly is going to happen. And one of the things, and you keep pressing him on this issue, and he is just very much in denial, this 0.5 percentage VAT increase is happening on the 1st of May. He is the one who lacked understanding of exactly what he is fighting for, him and many other political parties.
All right, Max, I got you. Ephraim, in Alex, quickly, good morning.
Clement, how's it?
Sure, brother, go ahead.
Mr. Herman Mashaba came to Alex and recruit us and tell how ANC, they are crooks, they are stealing money. Today he voted for that tax to be increased. Now we don't know what he's signed for. How, Mr. Mashaba? I'm so disappointed about him. I'm very, very disappointed. And you asking a question that how did you vote for something that you said is not going to be implemented? It's going to be implemented, yes. Mr. Mashaba, he must forget about us at Alexander Watt 76. I'm giving him a warning. We are no longer voting for ActionSA. Alex, we have talked about it yesterday and the day before yesterday that ActionSA is go away. We are no longer working with you, Herman. You must know that we don't no more come to Alex. We are no longer your people.
All right, Ephraim and Alex, thank you for your call. Guys, to be clear, VAT was always going to be implemented even though there was going to be an agreement or not. Right? So when you look at Section 7 of the VAT Act, it says that the date was already proclaimed. The difference here is that ActionSA came and acted like, we are the hero. We've just saved you from VAT. That's the thing. So the problem here is not that, VAT wasn't going to be implemented. No, that's not the fault of ActionSA. It was going to be implemented. The challenge, though, is they came and they were sold the dream and they bought it. And the ANC was able to go over this first hurdle they had in Parliament, in that committee, and in the National Assembly during that vote. Dumelang, welcome to the second hour of the Clement Manyathela show. I just saw a statement right now from Mmusi Maimane, who is also from a party, Build One South Africa, that voted for that fiscal framework in Parliament. The statement from Bossa says now, Build One South Africa will be holding a press briefing hosted by Mmusi Maimane to outline Bossa's next step in the national budget process. The ANC has called a meeting for tomorrow evening with all political parties who voted in support of the fiscal framework to consider submissions to plug the fiscal hole and avoid a VAT increase. Bossa will work with all parties committed to stopping a VAT increase and passing a workable budget that grows the economy and delivers for all South Africans. So today at 11 o'clock, interesting. So Mmusi Maimane is going to have a briefing at the same time that the ANC is going to have a briefing. I think the ANC's briefing today following the NWC meeting yesterday. Wait, is it postponed? Oh no, that's the ANC Youth League. I want to read you the statement that the ANC released today. Yeah, today, Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, right? The 8th of April. Fikile Mbalula will be holding a media briefing at 11 o'clock. Well, Mmusi Maimane will also be holding a media briefing at 11 o'clock. Let's see how this is going to play out. I think all these other parties are going to find a way to justify why they voted so that they don't come across as if they were duped or played by the African National Congress. But let's be honest, they were. Any other party that voted for that fiscal framework with the hope that miraculously the finance minister within 30 days is going to come with a reworked budget was duped by the ANC. In fact, the IFP is very honest. They are saying, we know that VAT is going to come in. We are comfortable with that because we know that it's going to be a temporary measure. Rise Mzansi also says it's going to be a temporary measure. The deputy president says it's going to be a temporary measure. What does Mmusi Maimane say? What does ActionSA say? I took a bit of your time in the previous hour speaking to Herman Mashaba, so I want to make up for that. So I'm going to take more of your calls in the next 5 minutes or so before we start our conversation with the National Taxi Alliance. So give us a call on 011 8830702. Your WhatsApps are on 072-702-1702.
Morning, Clement. The only one that's delusional is Herman Mashaba. Even Vodacom has already put up the VAT for next month. So maybe they should have a please call me to Vodacom to find out exactly what's going on. They're the only ones that were duped. Everybody else knew exactly what was happening.
You know, Clement, I don't know what Herman is talking about. I just received a message from MTN. On the 1st of May, they are increasing my bill with 0.5. So I don't know why he sounds so quizzical. He sounds like encrypted, speak about big language, framework, fiscal. The VAT is going up on the 1st of May, Mr. Mashaba. I don't know. I don't even think you were tricked. You just don't understand what you were doing. Thank you.
Morning, Clement. I think ActionSA knew what they were doing. They play a long game. That's what they are doing. Because in every situation, you play a long game, especially in politics. They knew what they were doing. The problem, the ANC, they thought they were going to dupe ActionSA, but they didn't. They find now themselves in a corner. Because now, if they don't do what ActionSA tell them that they must do, they have put themselves in a corner. Now they have to go back to the DA that they don't want to work with anymore to go and plead for them. Or they have to come back to the ActionSA, which ActionSA will say, no, we're not going to play with you anymore because you are trying to play us. I think they knew that what they were doing, Clement.
Hi, Clement. Hope you're good. My view on this thing is Mashaba is grasping at straws. He's now realized he basically voted for a budget, for a VAT increase, even though he wanted to make it seem as though he put down conditions and whatnot. The fact of the matter is the ActionSA has voted for this thing, same like the PA. And for me, they basically complicit. And I don't know how they see that voting for this VAT was going to make South Africans' lives easier. That even though they increase more goods on the non-VAT list, it's not going to really benefit a lot of people. But yeah, so he's now trying to grasp at straws, and he's already done what he did. And I hope his voters can see it. I'm not a big fan of the DA, never have been, but they fought for it and they stood their ground, and I commemorate them for that. Whether I'll vote for them in the next elections, well, let's see. Time will tell.
And guys, to be fair, ActionSA was probably negotiating in good faith. I honestly don't think, remember I gave you two scenarios. Either ActionSA was played here, they were duped and deceived by the ANC, or ActionSA knew exactly what they were doing and they just lied to their supporters, but they knew come the 1st of May, this VAT is going up. And I'm more believing the first than the latter. I think, and I could be wrong, but I think they negotiated in good faith, but they're negotiating with a party that wanted to get over this thing over the line because time is running out. They needed, in that finance committee meeting, they needed the votes. So just promise these guys that, don't worry, the finance minister is going to go and work his magic and come back to you in 30 days. And then now you hear what they say. They talk about, oh, this is going to be a temporary measure. But ActionSA must also take accountability. Like at some point, you're starting to look ridiculous. It's embarrassing for you to then want to still believe in a dream when some of the ANC leaders themselves are saying this VAT will be temporary. But you're still choosing to live in this dream of, oh, finance minister is going to come with a new reworked budget. And I hope he does, by the way. I really hope he does. I hope I am wrong. But it doesn't look like it. Parliament is on recess. They're back on the 22nd. 25th, they go again on a break. Do you think between the 22nd and the 25th, there's going to be a new bill that's introduced and then there's a reversal of that? Oh, please, man. Practically speaking, do you really think that's going to happen? Jermaine, you're going to be our last call in the Johannesburg South. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement.
Sure, go ahead.
Yes, Clement, I listened to that impromptu interview with Herman Mashaba, and there's one thing that is very clear to all of us here. ActionSA, Bossa, and I don't know the third party, they smelled the honey. And they thought that they would get in on the GNU. Their hope was that the DA gets kicked out, they come in. Herman Mashaba said to you, he said that if they never vote or they never put their weight behind it, there would be no budget. But that's not the problem of ActionSA. That's a GNU problem. The voters voted for the ANC and the DA to work together. And if they cannot work together, ActionSA should not jump in and solve their problem. Because that's the problem of the ANC and the DA. By them coming in, there's only one thing clear. They smelled the honey, and so they thought, look, let's get in. DA comes out, we're going to come in. That's what it was. And now that the ANC is changing their tune now, they've got egg on their face. But that's really what they want to do. They cannot save South Africa because South Africa gave the GNU, the ANC and DA, the obligation to save whatever they can.
Yeah.
And all the other parts on the outside, they must stay just there. If the GNU fails and they're on the outside, then they will get credibility. They cannot get credibility for trying to save something what the voters gave to work.
All right, Jermaine in the Johannesburg South. Thank you so much for making time. 17 minutes now after 10 o'clock.